preserved my youth. Not only did it capture my goals, it told me the truth.
Conversate for a few, cause it a few.
I let them know we missing you. The love is unconditional.
Wave your hands, what's the land if we family?
We got a world premiere right here, now get lost.
So off we go, let the trumpets blow. And hold on, because the driver of the mission is a pro.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Marv B, and you are in tune to another episode of Conversate with Us. Remember, Conversate stands for communicate, converse, and relate. Make sure you go to our YouTube, click that bell icon so you can be notified of upcoming episodes, and make sure you tell a friend. Well, May is Foster Care Awareness Month, and as you know, in the Black community, that is a major thing. And I happen to have a friend, I even say she's my little sister, who's doing amazing things with children who are in the foster system. She is the founder and CEO of Greater Than Expectations. It's a nonprofit that helps foster care children transition out of foster into college. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her in so we can talk about this topic. Come on, Crystal, where you at? Dr. Crystal Ward, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me tonight.
It's good to have you. Good to have you. So, Greater Than Expectations. Tell us about the foundation and all that you do.
All right. So, Greater Than Expectations was founded in 2020 during the pandemic. We launched in August of that year. But the start of it the idea came when I was a child. I knew I would do something with foster care. And as my professional world, I've been a teacher and a principal, so I've worked with a lot of different youth. I specifically like teens that are transitioning into college or just trying to figure life out. There was a student in my classroom by the name of Ariel Rideau. I don't mind mentioning her name because we have a scholarship named after her. There was another student in the school who was in class with her, who was also in foster care, and I wanted to help that young lady. She did not want help. Ariel says, I want your help. I need your help. So here we are, 20 years later, we're still connected. And when I just thought about the youth that I work with needing additional supports, when you add that extra layer of foster care or challenges that they face, I wanted to be a part of the solution. And so the name Greater Than Expectations just comes from the fact that young adults in general, we put low expectations on them, but that extra layer of foster care, the expectations can be even lower. So created Greater Than Expectations to just basically support teens, those that are transitioning out up to the age of 24. And we specifically go a little bit further past, of course, 18, because there's research that shows kids end up homeless if they face foster care. They struggle with job instabilities and things of that nature. So we really want to make sure they have a great foundation as they enter into the real world.
And that's wonderful. I got introduced, obviously, I'm close to you. And I got introduced to what you were doing through the freshman move-in program. And we'll talk about that. But I saw how these young people were so happy with the work that you were doing and how invested you are in their lives. And, I remember the first time that I helped with the program, I remember breaking down in tears because I remember when I moved into college, my parents were older. I grew up with both of my parents, but my mom was out of town and my dad was older. And I knew I stayed like on the third floor and it was hot in the summer in Missouri. And I told my dad, hey, listen, you don't have to come. I can take care of it. He said, you sure I can come? I was like, nah, I'll move myself in. And I remember seeing the other students, and their parents helping them set up their dorm room and everything like that. And I remember how I felt sad about that. And I still had great parents. They were just older, and I took it upon myself to do it on my own. And here you have children who literally may not have anybody that's in their lives. And here you are standing in the gap to make sure that, when they transition from a situation that is definitely not ideal into college, which can be scary and it's a new thing, and you were there to help them. They get beautiful dorm rooms designed by designers and tons of people helping them. They get pampered throughout the day, and it's just a wonderful thing. And I thought about how I felt like, not that I was ungrateful, but just how thankful I was that I had my situation, and how happy I was that you were doing what you were doing.
Well, thank you.
So, this show primarily focuses on Black people, but obviously you help everybody, right? That's in the foster system. But I was
Yes.
looking at the numbers, and it was showing that even though we're like 12, 13% of the population, Black children make up like 25% of the of children in foster. Does that sound legitimate to you?
That sounds about right. That does sound about right. And we just want to do our part. And we do support everyone. But we definitely, I look at all of our students and try to make sure we're hitting their individual needs. And so even with the students that we work with, you'll see those numbers kind of similar reflected in the youth that we actually work with as well.
Yeah. And the big program that we talked about, tell us about it. Freshman Movement, tell us about it.
All right, so Freshman Fresh, that idea came to me because the thought is keep them fresh all year long. Now, I like to give credit where credit is due, and I actually helped support another organization that was doing something very similar in helping students at HBCUs that were in foster youth. And so it kind of came, and I helped do a lot of the background planning work with that. So the similar, we have some things that I suggested to them that we also do, but there's so many foster kids across the United States. I wanted to stay more local and just help kids here in the Metroplex, even though Greater Than Expectations helps across the United States. Our Freshman Fresh Move-In Day, it happens every August. We currently partner with UNT Denton, and that came from I had already researched and knew they had a great push program, which is a program that specifically focuses on foster youth and homeless students that go to UNT Denton. Their leader, Miss Brenda, is amazing. She has the same heart that I have. And so she created this program before the state mandated that every college has to have a liaison. So, with that being said, I knew there was a strong foundation to help support the kiddos. And so we partner with them. And yes, every August we have professional interior designers come in, and the push program identifies 10 kiddos that have chosen to continue their education. And so when you talk about statistics, there's a statistic that says over 70% of kids in foster care want to go to college, yet the number is anywhere between 3 to 7% obtain a degree. And so even when you look at that 3 to 7 is like some may get an associate's, some may get a bachelor's. And in a lot of cases, their tuition is paid for. But there's still so many financial obstacles because their housing is not paid for, their books is not paid for, their food is not paid for, college, just general life, no laptops. So what we've done is we come in and we try to keep them fresh for the entire year. So we regardless of where the student is in the foster system, if they were impacted at one point in time or if they're currently still in and aging out, we give them equally the same thing. So we decorate their rooms from top to bottom, provide the refrigerators that you help with every year, refrigerators, microwave. We purchase food for them.
Not
They're
only do I help with the refrigerators, but they had me carrying refrigerators, these many
upstairs.
refrigerators in the dorms that had no elevators. So yeah, thanks a lot, Dr. Ward. But go ahead.
We appreciate you. We appreciate your hard work. But some students, the reason we decided to do the same for all students is we literally have had, there was one time where a student didn't have socks, didn't have sheets, nothing. And then there's some who come with some things. And so we want to support them all. And so that idea is just to get their room so they feel comfortable. There's safety in living in a dorm. There's all kinds of research that shows academically you excel better when you're staying in a dorm. So that's the focus of that piece. Then we have the piece of adding in mentors or people who will check in with the students because they face a lot of things that you and I face. But I'll give an example. This year we did a banking class where students were learning about debit, credit, investing, banking 101. And one of the young ladies on the call basically said, hey, this is good info, but I don't even know the difference between a banking account and a checking account and a savings account. Can we back up? And that student is a sophomore in college. And so I'm glad that she felt comfortable having a safe place to say, like, hey, I need a little bit more support. And so that just kind of shows there was also someone on the call who knew about investing and things of that nature, but the needs vary, and we want to make sure that we're taking care of all of their needs.
So you talked about when you were a principal, when you were trying to help a young lady, and she didn't really want your help, and another one, Ariel was like, "Hey, listen, she don't want your help, I do."
Yes,
But you know, I've talked to different people who want to help with foster care children. Some people want to, bring foster children in their home, individually, make them part of the family and then transition into adoption. Some, want to create a home so they can have multiple foster children because, they, hey, listen, these children need somebody to support them. Their families need somebody to support them. I saw one person say that, they were asked, how do you get these young people, and then they have to go back to their family, and you've built this attachment. And the lady said something beautiful. She said it was my job to love them during the gap until they could get back to their family. And I thought that
absolutely.
was beautiful. And for me, because I'm a softie, and things kind of stick with me, sometimes I have to keep this at arm's length because oftentimes if a child is in, the foster care system, it's not because of something that's pleasant.
Right.
And with you having a relationship with so many children, there's so much that you have to take in. How do you keep yourself sane and emotionally stable to be able to pour into these children all the time? How do you do it?
Well, that is such a layered question. Um, So when we first started, I remember talking to one of the young ladies, and she knew that my mom was on speakerphone or that my mom could hear her talking. And she's just kind of telling me a little bit about her life. And my mom is in the kitchen cooking dinner, and she's like bawling. And she's like, how can you listen to this and not be upset? And I'm like, oh, I'm upset, but I can't break down every time because it's their lived experience. It's really the life that they have walked. And so it is standing in those gaps or trying to show that, past circumstances don't define who you are now. But it definitely gets heavy. I rely upon my board. I can call and vent,
Yes.
let them know what's going on. I create programs that help specific needs that the students have. Banking 101, they don't know how to save. All right, we'll do a solution for that. We're currently about to create a wellness retreat for young ladies just to pour back into them. But thankfully, my sister, who is also on the board, you know her very well. She's into like a lot of mindfulness and things of that nature. So I've been trying to just take that approach for myself, but I also keep it honest and real with the students as well, because they need to see that adults have issues. I actually deal with random bouts of depression just in my personal life. You probably didn't know that, but I do. And so when those things hit, I tell a trusted person, just like I want them to be able to have a trusted person. And then, of course, going to therapy occasionally, which is something that I encourage our students to do as well, also helps with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And in addition to being, Foster Care Awareness Month, it's also Mental Health Awareness Month as well. So we definitely have to take care of that because if you're not okay, then you can't pour into them, right? And
Absolutely.
I think there are times when we're dealing with each other individually that you can say, because I do it all the time with my friends. If I call and I vent, I'll say, hey, do you, because a lot of times with me being like the patriarch or the male figure in my friends who are women and my family, the women who are in my family, even some of the men, sometimes, I'm that sounding board that they just call and just vent or whatever.
Right.
And because
Right.
I know there's times where, hey, there's some times where I could take it, but there's sometimes when I can't. And what
Hmm.
I try to do is say, hey, listen, are you okay if I, vent to you a little bit? And if the answer is no, then I understand. But obviously you can't do that, right? Because these children don't have anybody else. And you have said, listen, I would be that person for you. So,
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to ask how you were doing that. Now, we talked about, you kind of mentioned the scholarship. Let's talk about the scholarship that we give out. And I say we because full disclosure, I'm part of the board. I started off as somebody
Yes.
that just was manual labor, lugging refrigerators up 4 flights of steps. As the years go by, I'm gonna keep saying I carried the refrigerator up 6 flights of steps. But let's talk about the scholarship.
All right, so the scholarship is named after Ariel Rideau. So I was a principal, but when Ariel was in my class, I was actually a classroom teacher. And that connection, Ariel was a student in my class. And again, from the jump when she said she wanted the support, I immediately called her foster mom, pulled up at the house, talked to her. Her mom was like, absolutely. And so Ariel joined me. I think her first activity was at Thanksgiving dinner. And even when you talk about that, Ariel grew up in her last foster home. Her family did not look like her, and they are still her family to this day. Love them, I love them down. But so her having a Black female teacher meant a lot to her, and then her coming to my family for Thanksgiving meant a lot to her. And I'll never forget. She said, "This is my first time being around so many people, and I didn't see like a fight break out."
Mm,
Not from like her foster care. She was safe there.
I know she-
The last home, let's emphasize that. There was craziness before, but that last one, they did a great job with her. And so like that really touched me that day. Like, what do you mean? Because this was my normal experience and it wasn't for her. So then you fast forward and the next year, Ariel left the school and she ended up going to a different school. And I did not know until years after that I was the first person that she called to tell that she was pregnant. So
mm,
she ended up pregnant. And even that conversation, and she always says, "You speak my name in room." So here you are, Ariel. I'm speaking it again.
mm,
um, she ended up pregnant, which is there's statistics about that with young ladies in foster care. And the conversation, the gist of it was, I don't know what's going to happen, but I never want my son to spend a day, or my child, because at that time she didn't know if she was having a boy or girl. I never want my child to spend a day in foster care, and I know you'll take care of them. So will you be their godmother?
mm.
And so to this day, that is the case. I have two godsons from Ariel, and the first one that I'm speaking about, he's completing this week his freshman year of college, which that's breaking cycles, right? And so when we started this organization of Greater Than Expectations, I wanted to honor Ariel with being one of the reasons why we started. And so we have a scholarship where right now it's up to $1,500 that we give out to a student who is choosing to continue their education, whether it's via a trade school, a four-year university, or so on.
Man, that's just an amazing story. And I work with one of your sorors, Dr. Tori. I got Dr. Tori and Dr. Crystal.
Hey,
And
hey.
Dr. Tori deals with adverse childhood experiences, ACEs. And that's
Mm-hmm.
her mission. Like your mission is helping children that are in the foster system. She's helping people confront their ACEs. And we all have ACEs, right?
Absolutely.
And the thing that she always says when people, so the ACE score, the ACE test is a test that's, given through the government for people who don't know, and it asks you a series of questions. And it could go from, did you have a parent that abused drugs or alcohol? Did you have a parent that was incarcerated? And it has other different questions. And at the end of the test, you get a score. And the
Mm-hmm.
one thing that she always says is, even if you are a 10, if it's a 10, that means you've been through some stuff. It doesn't define who you are. And
Absolutely.
she's also doing a series called Cycle Breakers, where people have broke the cycle. So that story that you just said was just so amazing. Because I've been seeing and with helping her with her podcast, talking and hearing the stories about different cycle breakers. So to see something like that, her son be a cycle breaker, she's a
Yeah,
cycle breaker because she said, "I'm
very.
not going to lose my child." And
Absolutely.
you being the person that helped inspire and motivate her to do that, I'm just, so happy and so proud of you.
Thank you. I think I kind of got a little emotional just thinking about it. It's been a long road, but that's my girl, and those are my babies.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. I remember being a teacher and breaking down my first year of teaching because you know me, and you know my heart. I want to help everybody.
Right.
And the vice principal at the school was like, you can't help everybody. And I was like, well, if I just, it's kind of like that starfish story. If you just help one, right?
Mhm.
Like that one gets tossed back safely into the ocean. And so just trying to do my part and then bringing, other people in to kind of support and bring that awareness. So thank you even for having this podcast. So because so many people don't even think about foster youth, and it's not because they don't care. It's just not a population or a thought until someone brings it up, and we can all do a little bit to support. So thank you
So,
for bringing that.
so no problem. So one of my concerns is, you know, times are hard right now,
Mm-hmm.
and people, the gas is high, groceries are high, everything is high. And my fear is, remember when COVID happened and, the kids had to go home and they would say,
Yep.
it's going to be a lot of kids going hungry. It's going to be a lot of kids who may be less safe because they don't have those mandatory reporters that are going to see them every day at school or what have you. So it's my concern that, we may see more kids end up in the foster system. So we need to develop these systems that you have put into place, these programs that you have put into place. And like you said, it's a nationwide problem. So while we are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, somebody can take this and do it somewhere else and help the children there. There's plenty of children that could be helped. But also what concerns me is, listen, we give out scholarships. We do, it costs money to do Freshman Fresh. And, somebody may say, listen, you know what, I really want to help, but I don't have it in me to give anything right now. It's tight. What's something that somebody can do that doesn't involve money that can help greater than expectations?
I love that. And I'll just throw out really quickly. We also work with Judge Gonzalez, which is the Dallas County judge over like all the adoptions in the Dallas County area. And she too has the same thought. She's like, it doesn't matter how many programs are created, we need them all. It's just that much support that is needed for students. And so, free things that people can do is simply, I have my shirt on. You can't see it, but it's my greater than expectation shirt. You can follow us on all of our platforms, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. You can share our postings, right? That brings awareness. You can volunteer. Volunteering is free. Your time and your talent. We try to match students. There's a student right now in the program. She wants to go into interior design. And so my goal is to pair her with an interior designer who designs the rooms for Freshman Fresh and kind of give her that experience so she can have it as a part of her portfolio. But also now she's giving back to other students in the program. So depending on your job, there may be a student who wants to help. We have another board member who, a young man, all he wanted was some razors to shave his face. But he was talking about how he had acne. And I'm like, okay, but I knew like a basic razor, like I'm talking about, just the kind that women or men may use to shave their underarms. That's what he wanted. And when I talked to one of our volunteers, he was like, he doesn't need that, especially because it was a black male. He's like, no, he needs some clippers. And
Yes.
I'm like, okay, I
He
don't know
needs
anything
I'm just sitting there thinking about, no, he needs some T-liner and these clippers because that's the
about
reason why he's breaking out. Yeah, and that's the reason why we need
exactly.
people that
And
look
so
like
it
they
was
got
like,
it. Yeah.
okay, well, what do I need to do? Because I'm not a man, right? And so, and I'm not a black man. And so thankfully that day it was, got on Amazon, sent some clippers to the young man with some aftershave, and had them the ability to chat with each other to kind of help him. So it's not a lot of time or money that is necessarily needed all the time. It's just showing up. That's the biggest thing, is showing up behind the scenes, because we are such a small organization. Nobody from our nonprofit seeks money yet, or not yet. not seeking money, but gets paid yet. You know, we would love to grow it to where we can. So the time and the talent, we need someone to help us with our social media. We have somebody right now volunteering and updating our website, and I'm grateful for the extra hands and support. So volunteering is also key. And spreading the word, inviting people to our events. We have something coming up on the 30th, inviting people to the events that allow us to share the word that then helps us to share with others who can go out and spread the information.
Right, and that event is Pathways to Possibilities. You'll come out. It's free. It's free to register, free to show up, and you'll learn a lot more about Greater Than Expectations and the stuff that Dr. Crystal Ward has put into place. Her and her amazing board, and all of her volunteers, and the students as well. So I know we talked about non-financial ways, but hey, money does help. So.
Yeah.
Where can they go? Where can they donate? If they and listen, because people watch this from outside of the Dallas Metroplex area, they say they may be able to. And $5, $10, it all helps. Trust me, it all
It
helps.
does.
So
It does.
where can they find how to donate?
Awesome. So if you're not coming to the event on the 30th, you can register for that event on our website. Our
So
website
the
is
30th of May, even though
yes.
I don't like to date the shows because people will watch this and in the reverse, but it's important. The 30th of May, 2026.
Right. And so you can go to greaterthanexpectations.org. There's an event page to register there, but also on our website, there's a donate button. There's a volunteer button. And so you can sign up to volunteer or to donate. You can donate as a one-time donor. We have someone, since we started in 2020, this person donates $20 a month every single month. They have it on an automatic draft coming from their bank account. And as you said, that $20, that $5, it all adds up. $5 can contribute to a meal that a student may not have money to buy. We have students who have food insecurity. That is a real thing. We have students who don't know how to drive. Thankfully, through one of our other partners, we're getting some students set up for driver's ed lessons, right? To make sure that they know how to properly drive, and it will save them on their insurance. So you can donate small amounts or big amounts, whether it's to Freshman Fresh or just general programming. You can set it up as a one-time or a reoccurring donation as well.
That's right. And you can see, man, there's so much stuff. And, Dr. Ward is, very humble, but she is there for these children 100%. And she goes, and when it's outside of the program, she goes and she'll have lunch with them, she'll have dinner with them, check in with them. And just think back to when you were in college and how sometimes you may have needed to call home to get that reassurance, and think about if you didn't have the ability to do that. So we really need to make sure that we are supporting people like Dr. Ward, because it's important. And this is a population that does go forgotten, and it is looked over. And, I just say that I'm so proud of you. God bless you. This is going to be amazing as you continue to grow this program. What do you see going forward with Greater Than Expectations? What's in your wildest dreams? What would you like to see happen with GTE? I'm not putting you on the spot. I know I put you on the spot, but listen, words are powerful, and we're gonna speak it into existence.
That question actually just made me a little bit emotional. So I'm trying to keep myself together. So it's just crazy how everything comes together. Because I always said if money was not an option, and this is before GTE, I'm talking about in high school, I would say that I would want a mix of like a home where kids lived that was like the YMCA and nobody wanted to ever leave. So the wildest dream would to create a facility. If you do any research right now, even in Texas, we lack space specifically for teens to go. There's not enough. One of our young people who are in the program talked about the lack of actual homes for kids that are in foster care. And then when you add that added layer of teens, people don't want to fool with teens, which is why I love them. Even as a teacher, I love the craziest kids. Send them to me. And so it would be a home. Shout out to Viola's House. Viola's House is here in Dallas, and they help young mothers. It would be something similar to that, but that was the idea that I had, is like a place where these young adults can come and they feel safe. That's the biggest place. The biggest part is feeling safe, and they never want to leave. But they get all of the development that they need right there, whether it is job training, whether it is finishing school, and they have activities. So that would be like the wildest dream ever. In the meantime, it would be just growing our footprint here in the Metroplex. I'm originally from Kansas City, so we've done things in Kansas City as well, and just expanding our reach to students. Since we started, we've sent down college kits to the Rio Valley area. We've helped with scholarships all across. We have a student who's at Grambling University right now. We have a young man who is in the military now serving in California. So our reach is in different places. They may have started here. Our scholarship recipient, she's from California. But definitely expanding our reach and programming that is specific to their needs. So going back to the wellness retreat that I want to do, that was based off a conversation with some young ladies, just, how it is to function in today's world, being honestly, more specifically, they spoke about being Black women in today's world. And so it just made me feel like we need to have something to pour into them and make them feel affirmed in being who they are. And so that's something that I'm doing. We've done a market in the past where we partner with another organization that serves foster youth, the La La Land Foundation. And we had some financial literacy, and then the kids could use bucks, and they were able to buy real products. So you could get your shaving cream there. You could get a headshot if you needed. And so we want to just continue those things and make it fun for our young adults as they are transitioning into the real world.
Yeah, and I see this, growing. There's multiple universities in the Metroplex, and University of North Texas is great. I love what they do, partnering with you and helping these young people. But there's other colleges as well, and I could see us growing into those different lanes. And then, the world is our oyster when it comes to helping these children because they need it. They need it.
Absolutely.
And I'm like I said, I can't say it enough. I'm so proud of you. It's such a sight to see when we do Freshman Fresh, and to see these children, to see the number of people, the number of volunteers who come out to help them. And I'm sure because some people might not know this, but I have 4 children, but I adopted all 4 of my children, and 3 of them were in the foster system. So I know what it's like to not have anything, for a child to not have anything, and for somebody to say, "Hey, listen, I want you. I want to be
Right.
in your life. I want to help you." And sometimes they may push back because they're teenagers, and teenagers do dumb stuff, right? But eventually they'll come back and they say, "You know what? Dr. Ward really helped me when I had nobody there to help me." you know.
Yeah.
And again, I'm so proud. And make sure we'll put the link to donate in our bio, into the description of the show. We'll post it on our social media as we clip this up. But really, everybody, I understand times are hard, but we really are doing good work. The money goes directly to the children. It's not just Freshman Fresh. Some of them may need a gift card, to buy food. Some of them may
Mhm.
need to get to a doctor appointment. And like Dr. Ward said, they can't drive. So we'll provide an Uber for them to get back and forth. And that all costs money. So anything that you could do to help is much appreciated. So again, go to the website, go to the social media, greater than. If you're like me, who's a little bit illiterate, is THAN, not THEN, greater than expectations. And make sure you tell everybody about it, and make sure you tell everybody about Conversate With Us. Remember, Conversate stands for communicate, converse, and relate. I got to tell people that because they all believe, conversate is not a word. Shut up. But
I thought that before, but I'm glad you break it down.
yeah. So Conversate With Us. Go to our social media, go on Instagram, go on Facebook, and make sure you share this information. And we'll watch you next time. Peace. Hold on one second.